Today's question comes from Kim in Arizona. She says, my husband wants us to help his daughter purchase her grandmother's home for $60,000. His motivation for doing this is he wants her to move close to where we live. She was just let go from a job for tardiness and has $14,000 in debt. She just got back from an expensive vacation and doesn't even have enough for the down payment on this house. How can I convince him this is a very bad idea? Wow, the art of persuasion. It's a difficult one. I don't know that you can convince him of anything. It sounds like he's made up his mind that his daughter needs to have this house regardless of her financial situation, which is a bad place to be. So Kim knows this is a bad idea, but she's asking, how do I get him on board with the fact that this is not the time for her to purchase this house?
There is a few times in my life I have been an enabler, but a whole bunch of times in my life doing financial coaching, I have run into people who are enablers, whether they're enabling someone that's an addict or they're enabling other bad behaviors. Enablers, which your husband is, Kim, are the nicest people.
They want to help.
They're very sweet people. If you're an enabler, I know this about you. You're a kind, gentle, compassionate, you're not a grouchy person. You're a sweet person. Because enablers always are. They always feel like they want to help. And he wants his daughter close to him. That's sweet. And he wants to help his little daughter. And he's helped her a lot over the years to the point that she's basically useless. He's helped her so much that she has no character. She can't seem to show up at work on time. She's a grown-up who can't even scrape together the money for this. I mean, he's created a mess. And Kim, the only thing I've ever been able to do with enablers, because they are convinced that they're helping, and they are helping people do the wrong things, and they're the sweetest people, is I just tell them, I just say, you're so sweet. You need to realize, though, that when you think you're helping, you're actually hurting. So, honey, I don't think you should bring harm to your daughter. I think you should love her enough to not bring harm to her. And to participate in her craziness, to participate in her irresponsibility and encourage it by financing it, is bringing harm to her. She needs to learn to keep a job by showing up on time, get her freaking work done. And the fact that she can't do that is because you've done this with her whole life, because you've helped her so much that she has no character. She has no bones inside of her character. And so, honey, you're not helping. You're hurting. You're bringing harm to her because you're not doing anything except go. She's not going to get better because you did this.
Now, the goal is for her to live closer to them.
And the grandmother's house.
That.
And the grandmother's home is in the deal, too. So there's also some
sentimental value here.
Emotion and sentimental value. So here's what we could do that I think would be good for his daughter is to say, okay, here's what we're going to do. If you do these three things, I'm going to help you. But I'm not going to do them for you unless you do these three things. One is you get 4 jobs and you start working 60 hours to 80 hours a week. You will not die from hard work. Just before you die from hard work, you pass out. So you will not die from hard work. You're going to be okay.
That's science.
It's science, yeah. And it's brain science. And so you're going to be okay. I want you, and number one. Number two, you're going to go through Financial Peace University. And you're going to graduate in a week. You're going to binge watch the videos, and you're going to go through them, and we're going to discuss them together. And number three, with all the money that you're making, you're going to save all of it. You're going to spend none of it on stupid butt stuff because you need to come up with a down payment really, really quick. And if you do that for 60 days, I'll help you get this house. But if you don't do that, I'm not going to help you get this house. And so what you're doing there is you're encouraging her. And I'll even add one more. I'll pay off half of your debt, your $14,000 debt, after you pay off the first half.
Get some skin in the game.
I'll match you. You put $1,000 on it, I'll put $1,000 on it. You put $2,000 on it, I'll put $2,000 on it until it's gone. That gets rid of the $14,000 worth of debt, and then we'll help you get Grandma's house. But she's not going to be able to keep Grandma's house. She's going to lose Grandma's house. She's going to get foreclosed on if you go into it this way. So the only way I've ever been able to get an enabler to stop enabling is to convince them that they're actually bringing harm, because an enabler can't stand the idea that they would be hurting someone because they're sweet people. And if I can finally convince them that they're causing harm rather than helping, that their version of help is actually harmful, then that's the deal.
Sometimes kicking someone's butt's the best thing you can do for them.
Absolutely.
Especially if it's your daughter.
It's moms and dads with grown kids in their basement. I mean, listen, an eagle that doesn't leave the nest eventually is known as a turkey. And so you've got to help them leave for their sake. You're not helping them. You're hurting them. You got a 36-year-old in your basement. You've brought them harm. They're emotionally stunted in their growth. Their ability to function in the culture is stunted because you've brought them harm, and you thought you were helping, providing that you're still continuing to do their laundry. And it's just, and that's not, well, Dave, that's tough love. You're just tough. It's not tough love, honey. That's love. It's love to allow people to live out their best life, create a sustainable situation with dignity. That's empowering. That's love. That's real love.
Yeah.
And, toxic love is, I'm going to keep you around so I feel better. Ugh.
And let me continue your misbehavior.
That's enabler language.
What
from now on.
about this plan? What if she could rent grandma's home since she's broke, and eventually it can be hers?
Well, it depends on who she's renting it from.
I don't know the ownership level. We don't have that information here.
If Dad has to buy it and rent it to her,
that's a bad
she's
plan.
not going to pay the payment, and then he's not going to throw her out. Because now we just
evicting your daughter. That's awkward.
Well, it is awkward, but you're also setting her up to lose, because she knows she's not going to pay the payment. She knows he's a pushover, an enabler. Same thing. And so she knows this, and so she knows exactly where they stand. So no, you can't put her in there with him as the backstop, because him backstopping her has been the issue. But the truth is, Kim, your husband is a kind, nice man. He really is a good person. He's sweet. He really is a sweet person. And I'm not making fun. I'm not being sarcastic. I really do think he is. He has just defined the word help wrong. His definition of help is not accurate. You're not helping. You're harming when you give a drunk a drink. You didn't help the drunk. You feel better because you feel like you did something, and you thought you were nice, and you didn't create conflict. But you didn't help, you brought harm. When a drunk continues to be a drunk because you helped, that's the definition of harm.
Toxic generosity. That's what it is.
That's a definition of harm.